Welcome to This Week on Our Collective Heads. We're talking about Xbox Game Pass, which previously we had told you about and said that, it's kind of up to you. I don't know if it's worth it.
It was mostly 360 games. It has
Yeah.
some good ones, like you could play Gears of War, you could play some of the Halos, you could play Fable, things like that.
You can add to your backlog, is basically how I felt about it previously.
Yeah, I can see that. But like it was a lot of 360 games, and it was like the expanded. If you like backwards compatible, you'll love.
Yeah,
and it was kind of that thing. But what they introduced this week was the idea of just being able to have the first party games day and date. Like when it comes out, you can play it. So I guess my main question is, what does this mean for games moving forward, and what is the impetus for people to buy games if you can launch and sure. Not pay?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like the idea of once a game goes into PlayStation Plus, it's like, okay, that's cool, but unless it's something that has a really long tail, like Rocket League did, which Rocket League built a massive audience right there at the get, and then they at the top of the downloads because anybody who bought a PlayStation, it was like, what game should I get? You should get Rocket League.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Which is true. You should get Rocket League.
Yes.
What I think this means for the industry is I think that they're looking at it like movies. So Netflix and Hulu and Amazon have taken over the digital market, where people have the same question that you posed, except for movies. Why should I buy the movie when I can stream it? Except for Netflix and Hulu, it's later on.
Right.
I think the big difference here is going to be twofold. One, how are developers getting paid for something like this when you have when you're not paying $60 per? And are you just going to track people who download the game as opposed to people who purchase the game? Because the purchases are just going to tank if people go for Game Pass. I've signed up for Game Pass. I'm going to try it out and see how easily how well it does. But to me, the addition of new games, first party games at launch being available, what it tells me is that they have something else they're not telling us. I think what's going to happen is they're going to do this, but you're going to get the game at launch for its X amount of time. I think it may be like a 30 or 60 day thing, or maybe longer.
Okay,
but
for a single player experience like we do, that's plenty.
That's perfectly fine.
I could beat it in a month or two. Yeah,
I think they're wanting to do that because they feel if they give this out and we get people to play it, similar to doing a free beta weekend or something to that effect that we've talked about before, they can get people to play games that may or may not have played them before. And if you take it away, because remember, this is not like PlayStation Plus where you put it in your cart, you're done. This is a subscription program. It's like Netflix. They can take it off at any point, and I think that the developers may do it at any point.
And Cheech points that out in the Facebook comments. He said if the games are good, it could do very well. And it's like, because they're putting out their tentpole games of these are the first party games. If you're playing on Xbox, this is the reason you're here. So Forza, that was the other one I was missing.
Yeah.
Forza Motor 8 Sport.
Motor cars. Forza Motor Cars tire.
Forza Motor Cars, the tires.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea. I think that prediction time.
Okay.
Before the end of the year, we will either hear about a ton of caveats and or they no longer do first person titles on Game Pass before the end of the year, because this is so. And remember, so I've got 11 months on this. I got 11 months.
All right.
But this could be so detrimental to a company who is hurting for exclusives, who is hurting for people to buy games. Now that being said, would you rather have someone pay for 2 games a month, or sorry, 2 games a year, $160 or $120, or $10 a month, $120. To me, I think that Xbox is looking at it saying you're probably going to get people who buy Game Pass and they buy other stuff, because it's not Game Pass isn't going to include third party for launch date stuff. It's only first party, right?
Some of those have shown up in Game Pass. Like I said, mostly it's 360 backwards compatible games, but there are a couple of Xbox Ones in there, like Farming Simulator, because everybody was begging for that.
I actually know people who enjoyed it. I don't know.
I was only being partially facetious, but one of the things that Phil Spencer has said that he wants to do is he said that he wants to have games that launch on Game Pass, and so that my prediction is actually kind of going the other way. I think that within 2 years, so by the end of 2019, I believe that we will see Game Pass become a launch service, because when Netflix started, if you recall, it was other people's movies, other people's shows, and DVDs in the mail for whatever god awful reason. But when they first came out and they were like, hey, so it's called House of Cards, we were like, okay, wait, Netflix is doing a show? But now Netflix has shows, Hulu has shows, Amazon Prime has shows, and I think that they've seen that the engagement and the willingness of people to jump in and have that conversation started. And so I think that this is about right now, and Game Pass and everything. It's more about buying into the system and the specifically. And so if you're there, so if you're on Game Pass, and for me, I would not have a problem with this. If you launch Game Pass, whenever you launch Netflix, it doesn't show you the last thing that you played that second. The first thing is something else. Maybe you'd like this. And so I think that they're going to use Game Pass to encourage people to expand their horizons, their Forza horizons, and see what's going there. We have another comment from Cheat. She says, coming from a financial standpoint, will it be more cost effective to get only Game Pass and no longer buy games? And as far as first party on Xbox, yes. That is the solution.
I think it is the solution. I think that what you're thinking of, and I think that what they're thinking of, is they don't think that the average person is going to do what Cheech is talking about, where they say, oh, from a financial perspective, I'll just sign up for Game Pass and never buy games again. Because we're not going to do that. One, not every game is going to be on there. Two, we as humans, and with the gratification that we have, we like to buy. We don't like to be sold, but we like to go out and buy. We like to find things. We like to have. We like to get. So I think that what they're going to bank on is similar to like a gym membership or something like that, where either people get it and they forget that they're using it.
Forget about it,
and they don't use it that much. Which honestly, for digital, it's not going to matter that much. But I think what they're banking on is that people who have some money to play around with, like me, they'll go, oh, I'm going to sign up for Game Pass, and I'm still buying games, but I also have access to these other games.
I just thought of something. Okay, so you had mentioned the idea that that they could have where you have the first party games day and date, but then they expire. At that point, I'll bet you, whatever kind of dinner it is that you like, I will bet you that when they go off the service, they're going to go on sale so that you buy them. So you're going to spend the money on Game Pass, and then as the game's on its way out, if you haven't finished it yet, then you're going to go, and then you will have basically spent $90 on that game. Instead, the idea of subscriptions.
Yeah, if that was the only game you bought, if that was the only game you played. I think that one thing that I think is going to be amazing about this, which I'm going to tell my sister about, is for kids for either limited income, or if you have kids who you're like, I don't want to keep buying them games, then this $10 a month, and you can say, these are your games. I think that until that works, I'll just say, I think that this would work really well for parents to say, here's $10, kind of like we were talking about with the games. GameStop was going to do their rentals system that they were going to be doing. I think that this is going to be a similar situation like that, where it may be a nice financial decision to say, okay, well, instead of purchasing games, then this is how you can play video games for the kids, and then for kids, teens, whatever, and then say, all right, well, if you save up your allowance for whatever, then you can buy it. But it allows more of, as opposed to the impulse buying of, oh, I want to buy this game, I want to buy this game. Well, you have games and you save up for those, so kind of making that a special occasion. That's what I would do as a non-parent. That's what I would tell you parents to do. But that's all we have right now. But let us know in the comments what you think about Game Pass. You think it's going to be successful, and do you think that Sony should follow the same suit? We know Nintendo won't, but should Sony do the same? Let us know in the comments. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching This Week in Our Collective Heads. Subscribe over here and click the bell, and that way you'll know about any new videos that we put up, because we put up a lot of gameplay, a lot of stories from games and stuff like that, and gameplay is down here.
Yeah, and you got more editorials and news stuff down here. Check it out.